And here we go. And I think a proper introduction is in the way for those who do not know me or had never heard of me. My name is Tunmise Oladapo Kuku, and a handful of people might know me as that girl that helped people navigate through Lagos traffic on Lagos Traffic Radio. I think I'll have a couple of people who know me from way back, and that is on Eco FM and on Radio Lagos. All right. I am glad for that experience. I'm glad for that part of my life. What I am now doing is a sort of social ambassador who uses storytelling to re-engineer social values and shift paradigms. These are thought patterns that might be limiting or the ones that are worth enhancing towards a better living and coexistence. I work to help people find meaning in themselves through their own stories and the journeys through life. To me, that is the whole definition of mental wholeness and wellness. So, mental health questions tend to get a bad rap and seen through negative colored lenses, and that may be true. At some point in the life of mental health understanding and advocacy, it seems that everybody looked at it as a taboo, and so much so, not just in Nigeria, everywhere in the world. And then it has now morphed into something that is so pervasive, and it is close to being irritating. Now, what I can say is the common denominator here is that to answer any mental health question or to gain clarity of what narratives surrounds mental health, would have to sit down and have conversations and see it from different lenses. Until then, mental health questions will continually be shrouded in colored perspectives, and we would definitely always have people would have questions about that. One thing I know for sure is that no matter how much we feel negatively towards how mental health is being thrown about and protecting my mental health is being thrown about, there is a very beautiful side to this maligned and misunderstood part of humanity and existence. You know why I say that? You know how they say you cannot appreciate the good if you have not seen the bad, or you cannot appreciate bad. Yes, I used appreciate if you have not seen the good. And that is because if you see the bad or you've experienced the bad, hopefully lessons have been learned that will help you understand and appreciate the good when it comes. This is the essence of understanding what it means to keep a healthy mental wellness and wholeness, at least from my opinion. So what am I going to be doing with this show? I'm going to be challenging you to sit down with yourself, maybe after the show, during the show, or where we're having conversations with my friends and professionals that will be on the show, to sit with yourself and properly define the terms and concepts that embody mental health wholeness to you and others around you. I have said that as the person living with bipolar affective disorder, I will be sharing my stories on the show, and I'm not going to run away from that. Do not worry. But before we get into all of that and how I became or have come to accept that I am a podcaster, well, I'm a radio girl, and I wanted to do this, let me give you a bit of background of where I'm coming from as a podcaster. I'd ventured into podcasting or online radio as far back as 2015, and you guessed it, it didn't pick up. It kind of tanked, or maybe not. I knew what I wanted to do. I knew how I wanted to do it, and I experimented with the content that I created with radio at the time. But after 26 episodes, I rested it. I lost steam, I lost friends, and I lost associates. And that's fine, because I gained two. Not just experiences, but perspectives too. And I still am learning. I'm so grateful for that. But before podcasting became a thing, I knew I would. And then it became a thing. I thought, no, Tunmise, you're not doing this. Now, this is me who hates bandwagons. I have jumped onto podcasting and being a life coach. You get a clearer picture as you continue to journey with me on this show, Mindfully with Tunmise, the podcast. So how does it relate to being a mental health advocate, you might be asking? Simply, when we talk about mental health and all its attendant siblings, we are simply talking about how to connect and relate with and to our social, emotional, and psychological well-being. My coming to and knowing has given me so much perspectives as to what life is all about. I was able to identify why I allow the other podcast tank. It was called All Around the World with Tunmise anyway. You won't find it anywhere. I wanted it to be called TDK's Monologues. And because I allowed myself to give over my power, I allowed someone else take that away from me. It lost its hold on me. And of course, I lost energy that I needed to let it run. Now, we've gotten that uncomfortable thing out of the way about mental health, another mental health show. Can we all breathe? Yes, take a deep breath. And what I desire to do with this space, as I have now become a storyteller, a story catcher, an ardent mental health advocate, I believe that most of the mental health questions that we seek and need to answer can be answered if we truly listened to one another and give as much grace to one another when we hear each other's stories. So I'm inviting you to the safe space, this time together with me. It is meant to be a time to be safe. Enter a space where there is absolutely no judgment for how you feel, how you think, and how you see. Hopefully, there are no right or wrong answers because, hey, this is you. This is your life. This is how you see things. You are here to learn as much as I am here to learn from you. So sometimes you'll have a full episode from between 30 minutes to 60 minutes. Definitely not me talking for that length of time. A conversation, an interview, and at other times it will be a monologue from me telling a bit of my story or reading, whatever. But someone totally random also could do that on any subject matter. This is truly a safe space. I will forever be a radio girl. So, though this is podcast format, I will be treating this as though I was on radio. So, forgive me in advance. The only thing I would not be able to do is add some music to buttress whatever topic we're talking about. That would have been so awesome. But copyright issues. But I would work to make it as radio-y as I can afford to. My journey as of now, in this phase that I am, I could worry or move on with the lessons I have learned on my way to this point, and I'm still learning, or I could sit with a suit that is the debt and say to myself, and why me? Ask all the questions, why me, and all of that. The other option, I could embrace the truth, the reality that I am only a representation of a handful of people who have similar stories, good or bad, and I could be a light shining at the beginning of the tunnel, guiding each person through that tunnel towards the light at the end of that tunnel too. Will there be laughters? Yes. Might the conversations make you cry? Maybe. Tips to be in the tips to make money. Oh yeah, making money and living a good life is all part of mental wholesomeness. Answers to a plethora of existential questions, from faith-based to the most mundane. Conversations you would like. And there will be conversations will totally irk you, the whole spectrum. So don't worry, I'm not expecting that every part of this show you're going to enjoy, or every part of this podcast you're going to enjoy, and that's okay. But what I'm asking is unconditional positive regard for me, for yourself, and the other people that will join this community as we grow and as we relate with one another, whether through comments, whether through phone calls. Yes, hopefully it will get there. Remember, this is a psychologically safe space. I had said in one of my posts back in April 2023, the levels to be precise, I alluded to the fact that this storyteller girl will be back using her stories and telling her stories and also collecting stories. I love to hear stories. I do love to hear stories. I said then that people will think they're better than others, have not taken time to hear the stories of other people you think they're better than. So, if you think you're brave enough, let's talk. Now, the first series of Mindfully with Tunmise, the podcast, will for the most part lead conversations on friendship and everything between. I cannot wait for you to join me on the first conversation that I had with my amazing sister, Adirili Nii. Alright, some might know her, some may not, but she's such an amazing sister. Until next time, take care of yourself, be good to yourself, love your neighbor, love your country. Above all of this, love God. He is the essence of your being. Don't forget to share this podcast with someone or not. Yes or not. You can support also. Just check out the show link. Everything you need to know about us is on www.blackimages.com. I am Oluwatomishi Oladapo.